Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome onto this beautiful live I'm going to be doing with Brother Daniel. We're going to be talking about the masculine and feminine energies. I'm just lighting some Palo Santo. We're going to be talking about our primal sexual urges, the divinity of the masculine and feminine and the union. And we're going to be sharing our tips and practices with you. Just taking a moment to come into the space and ground. Let's take some breaths together. Breathing in. Hold. Breathing out. Breathing in. Hold. And exhale out. Breathing in. Hold. Exhale out. Okay, so and going to go with Dan. I've sent you a request, Dan, to be on. Yay! Hello!
Hi.
How are you?
Well, thank you. And you?
I'm well, thank you. Oh, wow, it looks so lush where you are.
Yeah, we got a lot of sunshine and greenery. It's a good backdrop.
Yeah, very nice backdrop. What a beautiful day. It's
I just
great.
hope I have a road at the back here,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes cars go past for you to forgive me if you hear a car or two go past.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll be hearing your voice anyway as the main, yes, as the main thing. So, what we want to talk about, so good to be here with you. Thank you for joining space. So, we want to talk about our primal sexual urges and how to honor those and harness them, and also the divinity of the union of the masculine and feminine, and how to honor the self as a sovereign being, and also how to honor when being in a partnership. I think those were the few things that we wanted to talk about, and we'll flow as it comes. And we're also going to be sharing some of our tips and secrets and practices with you. And this is going to be an interactive discussion, so please comment in the box below. If you've got any questions, we'll have a little Q&A at the end as well. So if you've got any questions, you can pop those in the little box with the question mark, because otherwise they'll get lost in the comments. And so, yeah, we'll be answering your questions as well at the end. So, and when we're talking as well, if there's anything that you want us to clarify and anything that resonates with you, that you're like, yes, I felt this and this is my experience, please share that as well in your comments. And for those of you that are watching on the replay, we also want to hear from you. So please get in touch with us. So yeah, Dan, do you want to intro yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your journey, and yeah, how you and I met and connected as well. We've also got a deep connection through ancient Egypt, so some things might come through there as well. Yeah.
So my name is Danny. I go by the name of Danny L.
Mm.
I'm originally from Oxford. I now live in the Algarve in Portugal. Beautiful place, as you can see.
Mm.
I'm 37 years old. I think I started my spiritual journey at the magic number of 33,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite profound. Uh, so I've been on the path since then. It's been up and down quite a lot. You know how it is. The universe likes to give you tests and always push you to your limit to make sure you you learn the lessons you need to learn for the elevation of one's being.
Mm.
So I've been to the brinks of the void, and also to the heights of what I would call, I used at the time, I called it God mode, because I was so connected and so high in my crown that I could see the inner workings of people and nature, but I knew that I could not exist in that space. So I had to ground and come back down. So I've been both sides of the coin, the polar opposites of each end, which is cool. At the moment, I'm just trying to live this free life, and again, relationship experiences at the moment are the ones that are really pushing me. I have children, so it's also about not passing any karmic healing from my lineage to them. So I'm trying to do all the healing for myself in these moments here, present. What else? We met at the sober rave.
Yeah.
The sober rave. I think what's it called again?
Rise and Shine.
Rise and Shine. Yeah. So I like this place because it's a sober rave.
Yeah.
That was a very profound night.
Mm-hmm.
I actually spoke about this night yesterday to a friend, because I left my body twice in the end meditation, and I think there was 2 instances where our physical connection brought me back into my body. I didn't know it was us. I didn't know it was you. But the second one, we were in the circle, back-to-back circle, and I leaned my head backwards, and my head touched your head, and this pulled me straight back from my projection straight into my body. So it was like, wow, something was happening in this space.
Yeah.
So it was a very powerful night that night, and that's the last time I was actually there. I didn't be back in, so. And then since then we've communicated. We hung out for a while, learning, trying to get to know each other. And I'm a little bit upset that I'm not closer, so I can be involved in your little community that you've got, because it looks great.
I know. Yeah, we'd love to have you, but feeling you in this way through this medium. And if you ever make a trip, or maybe we'll make a trip there, we'll connect with community. But yeah, thank you for sharing your story. And in that, what really resonated with me was what you spoke to with your children, that the work that you're doing at the moment within yourself, and the importance of shedding our own deep wounds that we have as individuals, to not pass it down to our offspring and for the next generation, and so on and so forth. I had a women's circle last night, and we were talking about blood, and how our bleed, and how our mothers and grandmothers, there was so much shame around that, and that we carry it too ourselves, and it's nothing that is taught to us through it. We just don't know. It's just given to us for our parents. And so really honoring and celebrating you in doing that work, so that you're not passing up down to your daughters. And also another beautiful thing that you shared in when we connected through the meditation, and that brought you back into your body, that you left your body, and that human physical connection brought you back into your body, is such a powerful experience that we can have through interacting and sharing with another human being. And I feel that really happens when there is a profound connection. It doesn't happen to me with anyone and everyone, but with the human beings that are around me, that help me to ground and come back into my body, and hopefully for them as well, it shows me that there's a deeper understanding, a deeper knowing that is beyond the human mind, and it's a body knowing. It's like, I know you, you know, I can trust you to anchor me in. And so that's really powerful in itself, to open up and the discussion. And yeah.
So for me, I feel it's the resonance of the energy. So
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
does. I as I said, I only met you that day. I didn't have
Yeah.
to know you more, because my energy connected to the energy of you, and the energy resonates. It recognizes. It knows. It feels. The feeling of safety is a given. You don't
Yeah.
even have to think about it. It just happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you get uploads or downloads, you just know information that you didn't know before, but now you know, you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I love these type of connections, because you don't have to question. You don't have to question it.
Mm.
And, and you know, at that time, I was doing work to calling my soul family, because
Mm.
I was feeling quite alone in my journey, and alone in the sense that I didn't really want to uh, participate or hang out with the low vibrational people that were around me at the time.
Mm.
So I was looking for the high vibrational people, the soul family,
Mm.
and this is uh, what came. You know, a few
Mm.
people came into my world at that time, you being one of them, and it's been a great experience.
Yeah.
And it's good to find people such as ourselves and that we resonate with.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it's, as you say, it's such an honor to receive that when it comes our way, when the universe responds to what we're calling out, whatever it is that we're setting an intention to receive. And then when there is that response, there's moments where you're like, oh wow, this is really coming my way. But it's beautiful to feel that, and it's connections for life, really, that I feel.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it helps for us to give trust in the universe when these things occur, because we've asked for
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
something. We see the fruition of the things we've asked for, so it allows us then to I can actually trust that the
Yeah.
universe will provide.
Agreed. Agreed.
Mm.
It's we, Isabella and I, my sister and I, call it the cosmic ordering service. Where you place an order, and then when it comes your way, you're like, ding. You know, the cosmos hears you and brings it into your being, into your energy field when you're ready.
Exactly when
So
you're ready, you put it.
when
When
you're
you are
ready,
ready,
exactly. That's the key. That's the key.
divine time, I call it. We
Sorry.
cannot rush. I call it divine time.
Mm.
We cannot rush the universe. The universe knows when it is best for us. If we've asked for it, it has the list of what we have asked for, and it gives us only what we need at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
also something good to remember,
Yeah.
so we don't
Agreed.
get frustrated with waiting.
Yes.
Mm.
Agreed. So to start with, what we wanted to talk about sexual urges, primal sexual urges, and how to honor and harness these in a sacred way. Um, yeah, sort of that primitive side that comes up, and we can then see where we want to go with the discussion. But that was
Mhm.
one of the first things that came up that resonated with us both. um, so do you want to start with, and you know, we are always keeping the kind of the foundation of this live is always the masculine and feminine. So even though I'm in a woman's body and you're in a man's body, we're talking from a space of masculine and feminine. It's great to get your perspective as a man and my perspective as a woman. And you know, those are on watching can resonate in different ways, but also we'll be exploring what energetically the masculine and feminine want to express through the our own sexual urges. So yeah, do you want to start?
So for me, with this topic, it's a new one for me that I've been going through recently, that I'm learning about, and it's the divination of these things, you know, of
Mm.
the urge. So it's how to we are all human beings, so we are built a certain way. So we have these urges. Uh, I can only talk from the perspective of a heterosexual male. So this is where I'm going to be talking from.
Yeah.
It can be different for non-heterosexual males, or maybe not. But for me, it's the woman is a divine being in herself. So for me, I'm drawn to the feminine as a man, and in relationship, when around the feminine on a daily basis, the body responds.
Mm.
I see it as the natural responses of the man in the presence of the beauty of a woman.
Mm.
But the way we have been taught recently through recent years in history of society is the objectification of the feminine and the fact that everything is sexualized or over sexualized.
Mm.
So for me now, as a responsible adult and a responsible masculine, it's to try and learn and unlearn what is a healthy way to interact with a woman
Mm.
based upon those primal urges.
Mhm.
So I understand, like I've been in situations with where I used to work, for instance, where I'm in a mass environment with many, many men,
Mm.
and a lot of them are unhealthy masculines, and they objectify the woman. And sitting in these situations allows me to see the damage that has been done to the masculine through things like pornography,
Yeah.
uh, the billboards, you know, they say sex sells, so everything is sexualized. You want to sell this, you put a half naked woman on the picture, it's going to draw attention. But
Mm.
I think what's really key with that is they've tapped into the primal urges of the man.
Mm.
And in a matriarchal society, which unfortunately we live in, uh, the man usually is the buyer, is the consumer, is the driving force behind the
Mm.
purchase, has the purchasing power. So this is why I think they've done a really good job at attaching these things to the primal urges of the male. So it's been a process recently to undo those conditionings and really get in touch to what these primal urges are and what they
Mm.
are for and how
Mhm.
they really uh, resonate with one's being
Mm.
and how to interact with the woman through that in a
Mm.
healthy way.
Mm.
So for me, there's a thing that we've been talking about in my family recently about uh, the woman being the mother, like Mother Earth.
Mm.
It has this grounding earth energy. So the only way for the man to access the mother fully is through the woman. We are, as a man, we are the penetrator. We are the forceful penetrator. So even energetically, we need to learn to soften our edges because we cannot be so forceful, you know, like a double-edged sword.
Mm.
We can come with this energy which is quite direct and
Mm.
forceful.
Mm.
So I'm learning to get balance because everything is balance, right?
Yes.
So it's allowing to understand the feminine, the primal urges of the feminine, and how me knowing my urges, my primal urges as a man, because I know them because they exist within me, to interact with a woman and know her primal urges, and
Mm.
then to integrate the two in a
Mhm.
healthy way, that
Mhm.
we both are fulfilled, we are both high vibrating, we are both
Mm.
uh, cycling the energy in a very healthy and productive manner.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's like when you're talking, I'm just getting like tingles all over my body. It's so lovely to hear you speak this way, and I think that this is something I feel that this is something that's so important for us as men and women in general when we're interacting and relating with one another to be more aware of. And like in response to that, I think what I've noticed and what's come alive for me recently in my field is how the woman, so you know, same for me as a woman, in as a straight woman, I'm attracted to men, to the man, to the masculine energy, and I've noticed how within my body, there's so much emotion that happens every second. I'm constantly changing, that sometimes I don't even know how to express that. And so there's different ways that it can be worked with around when we're around each other. There's the sensitivity and the ability to read the body and read the other energetically, which we can become attuned to, and we can like train ourselves to read other people that are around us and notice whenever there's a shift. But it's not another person's responsibility to understand what is going on within the feminine emotion. So if we're talking about men and women relating, if the woman is the feminine is the foundation of the emotion for you as a man, your feminine is the foundation, is your emotion as well. That is what is driving then the masculine to take action, to move forward, and it's like, oh, okay, this is feeling this, okay, so I move in this direction. I'm feeling this, so I go this way. However, it is the responsibility of the feminine to express the primal urges, which is what you talked about. And for me as a woman, my primal urges are emotive. They come from an emotive place. They are my emotions. And it is my responsibility as a woman to express those, even though, and vocalize them, even though we have many wounds as women in I am too much, I can't say this, oh, I'm needy, I'm a burden. I've had this come up recently. If I express this emotion, if I express my needs, it means that I'm a burden. So much conditioning around how can we express our primal sexual needs, because sexuality is not linked to just sex. It's an energy that is present all the time. It's our creative life force. So for me to be able to express my primal needs, I need to be in tune with my emotions. If I'm not in tune with my emotions, I can't express my primal sexual needs. I then become disconnected from my sexuality, and my creative life force just goes down. My creativity just dips. And if I'm interacting with someone, it's like I become numb. So there is that responsibility of the feminine to know, to recognize and be in connection with emotions and express those. Because for me, that is when I tune into my primal sexual desires, they are emotive. Like, yes, they come up in my body, but if there is not an emotional connection to my primal sexual desires, then it stops me as a woman in my body. I'm not able to open up. I contract. Exactly. There's no expansion. There's no desire. Like, my body is responding, but the emotion isn't there. It doesn't meet it. And so I can't go there. So that's so important for the feminine, for the women in women's bodies, but even for men. It's important to really be in that connection with the emotion. And also what you said about objectifying the feminine, it's for me as a woman, what turns me on and turning me on and like being erotically awakened in a man is his ability to be aware and be open emotionally, and be aware of my emotions. And that's the opposite of what you've just talked about, you know, that it's just the body, it's just the object. And it goes both ways, and as women we objectify men as well. So, but I'm just referring back to your example. And so that's a lot of work as well within the masculine, within, you know, for you as a man to completely change that. And you're doing that from a place of blank canvas, you know. So yeah, that's what I had to say in response to what you said.
It's very true, and I resonate with the part you said about the woman being in touch with her emotions allows her to become expansive. If we oppress or allow the woman to suppress her emotional state, then she will contract, the body will contract. Yeah. She will not be open, she will be closed. And this is something that I'm learning also recently. Again, we also have to be in touch with our emotions as a man and be open to expressing those emotions. And I was talking the other day about men being pushed to a direction that we don't express. We have to be this hard shell, this rigid, stand tall, don't express. But this is what causes unhealthy damage in a man, you know. The self-expression of the emotion, the ability to outpour this emotion in a place in which you feel safe as a man or a woman is very much key to dealing with old wounds and trauma. One thing I also want to say with the woman, what I find has been oppressed in the woman is the expression of the vocal expression of these emotions. There's a lot of times when a woman has to be told to be quiet or stop or don't shout or scream or express as loud as and as huge as you can be. And to not honor that in the woman is to not honor the woman, because women are expressive, especially through the emotions, like you said. Your emotion, your mind, your heart, and your emotions are all connected. So to oppress, suppress in any way these things, like you said, it stifles the creativity of the woman. We are, as a masculine and feminine, we work differently. But I understand the woman better now through talking, and this is the thing, talking with women that are open to expressing themselves. And yeah, I wanted to say to you, I was going to say it to you personally, but it's for everybody. You are never too much. You are never too needy. You are never over the top. It's who you are. And I think this ties into the next topic. It's the freedom of being able to be who you are and feel safe in that space, that you can express yourself to your fullest potential without having to question if it is okay. Of course it's okay. To do anything other than that is not okay.
Yes, so liberating, and thank you for that as well. Thank you for saying that to me and to all women. Those, like that when you said that to me, I felt like a knot come up in my throat. And aho, as Daniela says, it's so powerful to have these moments of someone saying, I mean, for me as a woman, a man saying to me, it's okay, you're not too much. It brings, that little phrase brings up so much old trauma, so much old conditioning, ancestral stuff, past life stuff, present life stuff, where it's, as you said, everything is being pushed down. You gotta get on with it. You gotta be a woman and be a man at the same time, you know, keep going. It brings up so much. So thank you for that. It really travels deep into my being. And you know, there's something so beautiful in the feminine in general, like the feminine emotion, let's say, being acknowledged and being seen and heard, as we just did. It allows the feminine to then want and desire to support the masculine, and to really honor, and to be there, to do whatever she needs to do to support. That's really the word. And I felt lots of times as a woman, I don't, you know, in partnerships, past partnerships, where I'm like, I don't want to do this for him, you know. There's like this kind of like, ugh. Why? Because I felt like I wasn't honored. I mean, this is obviously my own process within me, that I wasn't honoring myself. But when there's this balance that happens within, the emotion is acknowledged, the feminine is acknowledged, then the feminine desires to be that place of, I want to nurture you, I want to love you, I want to care for you, I want to bathe you, massage you, do whatever it is that you need whenever I see you, you know, in the masculine. And that's such a beautiful balance to come into that space. It's natural, it's organic. But I feel that we've lived for so long in the imbalance, in this kind of like frustration of headbutting towards each other. And it's painful to live in that space. It's yeah, bringing us on to the next subject that we wanted to talk about, of the divinity of the union of these two energies. And I think that we're, as I said before, we're really working on blank canvases. And you know, I admire so much when I see men like you doing this work, because, as you said, there's so much suppression, and I see it within the men in my family, where it's not okay to cry. It's not okay. Like, my dad has big difficulties in crying, and even like when he's crying in front of myself, my mum, he goes away. He's like, I don't want you to see me like this. You know, so much conditioning around how, you know, like what you said, need to stand up tall and be a certain way. And when I see men like you doing this work, it's like you're working from, I mean, we all are as pioneers, but you're working from a blank canvas to become more soft around the edges. And the type of the masculine that is so needed in this world that has been so distorted in patriarchy, of this power over, I need to assert myself. And that's, you know, so much more to the masculine than that. And I feel that that's what the feminine can support with, right? The how you can come into your masculinity, into your full masculinity. And that's so powerful and profound and strong, but so loving as well. So yeah, thank you for doing that.
It's I get what you're saying about the generation before us that preceded us. Not my father was, again, he would not express emotion openly. I don't think I've ever seen that man shed a tear, ever. So the thing is, they learn unhealthy traits through their parents, who gave to them, who then gave to us. But it's important for us to do the work on ourselves for the benefit of the future generations. I don't shy away from crying in front of my children. If I'm upset, I shed my emotion, because it's healthy. But it also teaches them how to be healthy. But it also teaches them, I have 3 daughters, so I have to maintain this healthy masculine for them, so they know what to look for in a male for their future partners. Because I don't want them to think that the unhealthy traits of the masculine is the norm.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I do the work personally, one, for me and for my being, but also to show them that this is a healthy masculine. This is a healthy male. This is what we do. This is how it is. Don't be afraid to express yourself, male or female. Because everything is balance. It's so key. Everything is balance. And when you start really to look into the way we've been conditioned to live, it's very unbalanced.
Yes.
It's very unbalanced. So it's very good to work on creating a balance, undoing the old wounds, the triggers, facing our fears, facing those things that trigger us, and draw out that emotion. Because that emotion is energy. It's powerful. If it's left dormant or goes stale and stagnates in the being, it can cause dis-ease in the being. So it's always good to release these energies, release these emotions. Crying is a great way to release. It's a great way to release a buildup of pressure or energy. Dancing, again, is another thing that is like in certain areas of masculinity, to just dance or to sing. I know a lot of men will be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But to express yourself vocally, to hear the sounds come out, to just to shout as loud as you can. These releases are very healthy things to do to stop the stagnation of energy. And it's always about the expression. Back to the concept of when you're relating with people, when you're relating with another being in a relationship, it's for me, it's about the freedom of being you, and the freedom of allowing them to be them. There's this thing we call unconditional love. It's to truly embody this love without conditions. And what I mentioned again in one of my videos is to love without ownership. If me and you are relating in a relationship, I don't own you. So therefore I cannot tell you have to be a certain way to please me. I have to understand that you are a free sovereign being of your own right. And if you choose to spend your time journeying alongside me in close proximity and sharing yourself with me, then I honor that in you. I honor that you are, because we only have one life. We're not responsible for anybody else's thoughts, feelings, or emotions. We are responsible for our own. And everybody has to be responsible for their own in situations. So to keep relationships healthy, we have to express. We have to be able to speak and communicate and perceive. Like I read something the other day which was quite profound for me. Like we always have this thing about communication is key. Well, actually, perception is key. Because we can communicate all we want. If it's not perceived in the way in which the communication was given, then it can go all over the place. But we have to be able to perceive what is said. We have to be able to listen to listen, not listen to respond.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's something so important in that, in receiving whatever it is that is communicated in, and not and responding from a non-reactive space. Because I've definitely done that in past relationships where I've been triggered by what that person has expressed to me, because I've taken it personally, because we all tend to take things personally, because our world is, we live in our own bodies. But there's such a great lesson in the ability to be present and receive whatever is being shared, and take time to respond from a non-reactive space, from a space of unconditional love, like you said. Okay, so how is this, what is this then bringing up in me, rather than it being what that person has said, something that is about me. What has it brought, how can I receive that, and what has it brought up in me? What do I then acknowledge of my own? So it becomes a continuous cycle of an exchange, of a learning, of an evolution. It doesn't then stop, because we can easily just close the door and be like, okay, no, I don't want to receive that, that's too upsetting or triggering. By keeping the doors open, the cycle, the energy flow can continue. That's not easy. To keep the doors open, it's like I mean, we all do, but I definitely have a coping mechanism of just shutting doors. And it's a process and a practice to keep the door open, and then, as you said before, to feel safe. It's safe for me to keep the doors open, to continue the energy exchange, because this is what I desire, because I desire to evolve, and my soul desires to continue expanding within this experience, within this journey, as you said. Yeah, and there's such divinity within that. And I also, something that I love that sometimes helps me is the concept of the spiral. So if we visualize a spiral that goes up, and this is energy anyway, it evolves in a spiral like manner, where we can have certain wounds come up within the spiral. So if you imagine it, a wound comes up at sort of 8 years old, and then we feel it in whatever space we are at 8 years old, and then the spiral continues to go on. We evolve, we grow into adulthood, and maybe at 18 the same wound comes up again, and we're like, oh, this is coming up again, and we address it at that point, of whatever we can address it with our tools of an 18-year-old. Then it comes up again within our 20s and 30s, and we think, why does the same thing keep coming up? And sometimes these same wounds keep coming up, and when we're in relationships, even when we're on our own, like, we may think, why does this keep coming up for me? Why is the same thing coming up? That is because you are evolving, and so you are able to see it from a different standpoint of an evolved soul, an evolved human being. And so the same thing is coming up, like, oh, you can release furthermore of this shame, of this guilt, of this I am too much, of whatever it is. And I feel that whenever it's within if you're working with someone in a partnership, it's amplified. It's like you're feeling twice of what it is when you're doing the work on your own. And so the expansion of the soul it's faster. I have experienced that. Like, so there's more, almost more container needed for that.
Yeah, it's just true what you say. We can go through a wounding process, or the triggering of a wound, many times over. And although we feel in the moment we've learned this lesson and we've gone through it and we've processed this information, it's true what you say. Later on down the line, we may need to revisit, because there's residue left. And with the more evolved being that we become, we begin to process it in a completely different level. So the levels of the wound, there's multiple layers of wounds. One wound can be compressed in multiple layers. It's to shed all of the layers until you get to the core of the issue, of the problem, and then deal with that.
Yeah.
I applaud you for being able to hold your doors open in because it is not easy. It is not easy to be triggered and to remain open in that space, because we have this thing like that we're being attacked. So therefore we want to go into defense mode, and in defense mode, what we do to defend ourselves is Some people attack back, some people close, some people leave.
Mhm.
It's very hard to sit in what is being said and heard and felt in the moment and process and still be open to more. But that is where the greatest growth comes from, I believe.
Yeah.
Being able to sit in the moment and really transverse that feeling, that energy. Because if you do close your door and leave or you're only going to have to revisit it later on.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's going to be just as painful then
Yeah.
as it is the first time. So it's very wise to be able to do that, but it's not an easy process.
No, it's really not. Thank you for that, and same to you. You know, because I know that you're saying that to me because you've done it yourself. So yeah, I applaud you also. And I wanted to ask you a bit. Could you talk a bit more on your process of crying? Because that, as a man, since we talked a bit about our fathers and how they've never shed tears, and you know, I know that there's a process around that of sometimes, I mean, from what I've seen from my dad, like the inability to cry as a man, or the inability to show yourself crying, and maybe the link to the weakness that might be perceived as. And I'm interested to hear your journey with that, and how you have normalized it for yourself first and foremost, and then your ability to express it around other women and your daughters. Um, have you always felt comfortable with processing your emotions through tears, and how has it been for you as a man to cry?
So I've always been quite an emotional being. I've always been soft at heart, but the upbringing I had, the environments in which I lived, I had to create such a hard shell to exist in this world, in these places. So it all started when I had my first child. I started to really reattach to the emotional states and shed the falsehoods of what I had created, the facades, the masks, the layers of my being, and became who I know I am. I had this thing that when I get, if you get me angry, I cry. Can't help it. I might not sob, but tears will start to stream from my face. And people think that's weak. Oh, you're weak because you're crying. Well, for me, it's the outpouring of the emotion. This anger it's come up so far in my being that it's now coming out as tears. And for me, it was something in my teenage years that I wish I never had, because people would perceive me as weak, perceive me as a certain way of being. But I know within myself, my core, that it's just this expression of self. More recently, I'm just true. I just became true to who I am, regardless of what people want to think or feel or how they want to judge, or it doesn't matter. And I've been through some very heart-wrenching, emotional, heartstrings places. So I've done a lot of crying, sobbing, crying, just tearing. And when I feel the power of the release, it's something I cannot deny. So therefore I honor it. And if anything, I will promote it because of that first-hand experience of how it makes me feel. it's again, it's this thing about how do you really want to be perceived?
Yeah.
If I am holding back part of myself to be seen by a group of people as something I am really not, then really and truly I should not be in that circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know? If I cannot be openly expressive and openly who I am, then I shouldn't be in that situation. I should only be in situations where I can be true to who I am, and that be honored
Mm-hmm.
and accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So now it doesn't matter. I cry even in the circles where they judge and I cry there also, and I tell them to cry. They won't. They laugh but I lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I lead by example. I live my life a certain way, and them that can see it will see it. Them that can't won't. You know,
Yeah.
it's changed a few people that have been very hard, just by allowing them to see who I am, how I live, and how it benefits. It's allowed them to investigate these changes within their own selves. So it's a powerful thing to honor yourself. So for me, this is where the crying comes from, and the ability to cry and not feel. Do you know what it is? It's the ability to be vulnerable.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the ability to be vulnerable, no matter what. To express your vulnerability, whether it's ridiculed or not, but to know why you are doing that within your own being and allow it to benefit you. This is it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And it's like what I was hearing when you were talking is a lot of that that external shame that is put upon us from society and from wherever we've grown up, of how we should be and what it means to be a man or a woman, and that crying doesn't come within that. And when I'm hearing you say that people have said to you that you're weak when you're crying, it makes me sad, because when I hear you saying that you cry, it just, for me, there's like a strength that I feel in the body. And it's that whole spectrum, the balance of, the balance of being able to be within our masculine and feminine, and to acknowledge both of those to our best ability is a strength. We're pioneering that. And yeah, we wanted to talk a bit about the divinity of the union. I mean, we've touched upon it in different ways, but yeah, I know that you've been on such a journey within that, and I really honor your commitment to that, and I see you in that, and I see how it's now become a rarity to, within our generation anyway, to be committed in that way, to a union and to a deeper journey, because I really see it as the souls coming together, that there is a deep learning. And there are, as you said before, we're sovereign beings. There are personal experiences that come up, and personal expansions and learnings, but there are also shared learnings that come up through the soul interacting with the other soul. And for you, in this case, where you've committed yourself to going deeper into what more is there to learn and to expand from. And I think that this is very much overlooked. I'm just gonna. This is too uncomfortable. What you said earlier. I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna exit. I'm gonna get angry. I'm gonna get defensive. So Yeah, I'd love to hear more of your perspective on that, especially as a man, and how you have navigated that and opening up. I mean, we're going to finish soon, but I still want to hear a bit. Yeah.
I just need to move to the left because I need to plug in my charger and it won't plug in where I am here.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second.
Oh, it's so nice that you're outside.
Yeah, I wanted to stay in nature. It rained last night, so I was hoping it's big dry. It's springtime, so everything's growing again.
Yeah, the birds are out.
So I'm good now. So
Good.
the union of the masculine and the feminine. So I think first of all, it has to be balanced in oneself. You have to be able to understand which parts of yourself is the masculine, which parts of yourself is the feminine, and balance them within your being. So another thing that was which I felt I had to kind of like shy away from, is the fact that as a man, predominantly I was I would lean more to the feminine within me, the softer edges, the more playful, the more emotional. I wasn't really, I had to train to be the masculine and come across as hard and not caring and strong, and like physically I'm strong, but you know, emotionally, mentally strong. This was something I had to, firstly I created, which was not real. And then when I became more awake and more aligned with my being, I realized, okay, this is where I need to work on in my masculinity. This is where I need to work on in my femininity. And then bringing the balance of the two to become a more rounded individual. This is firstly how I think we need to work on the union within oneself. Because in relationships, when we're with the opposite, we need to know how to interact. We need to know when the masculine is needed, when the more masculine presence is needed, because we will then become the two sides of the scale. So you as the feminine, me as the masculine. I am the left, you are the right. Or was it the other way around? Anyway, this sides of the scale. That's right. So we need to balance each other. We need to balance the union of the relationship. So this is something I'm going through personally at the moment, is the balancing of the relationship with the masculine and the feminine. Being able to drop out of my predominantly feminine into the more masculine roles, you know, the driving force, the provider, the director, creating the direction that the family needs to move in, finding and creating safe space for the women, to be free, to be able to relax into themselves, into their feminine. But coming from a standpoint where I was predominantly feminine, this has been my struggle, and my work and my journey at this time. The commitment I am committed is to myself. I'm committed to becoming the most balanced individual that I can be in all aspects of my life, in everything. Firstly for myself, secondly for the children. Because I'm wanting to elevate, I'm wanting to grow, I'm wanting to ascend to a different level of consciousness. So therefore I cannot hold on to the things that keep me in a low vibrational state. I cannot sit in the old wounds that hold me in a low vibrational place. I cannot sit in the old indoctrinations, the old mindsets, the old stories that I've created to being a place. And I have to transcend these thoughts and feelings. I think, and being attached to the emotions, like you said, is the feminine trait.
Mm.
Being in the mind is the more masculine. Being in the emotions is the more feminine. It's always about the balance of the two. So this is where I work on daily.
Yeah.
I work on, because I was very analytical. I was very logical. I was very in the mind all the time as a masculine, thinking that this was how I need to be. I need to be more masculine. I need to be this way. I would drop into that space, and I would stay away from the heart space and the emotional side. And because I'm a man, I need to be this. And then I realized, actually, no, honor my feminine,
Yeah.
honor the feminine within me,
Mm.
honor that exists, because it does exist. I'm just lying if I pretend it doesn't.
Mm.
So
Mm.
this is where I'm at now, where I can openly express the masculine or openly express the feminine.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you for that. And that's so beautiful to hear you. And I agree with you that it's something that starts within the self first and foremost. To hear you say that you have that's a struggle for you, and that you've stepped into new ways of being a man, of being the provider, and holding a safe container for the women in your family to feel safe, to be expressed. That is so beautiful to hear you say, because I think that, so what came up for me, I'll share a bit of mine, but what came up for me was that as men and women, we desire so as a woman, there is a desire for that. I need that space to be held. I desire that, but it's not outwardly expressed, because it seemed to be oh, I'm then needy, I'm not independent, or I can't provide for myself. But it's actually very natural and very healthy for us to express and desire that way, and say, yes, I do need that, and it's a healthy need, and if it's alive within you, then I welcome that. And for me as a woman, then to be able to be that mother, that space of the womb, of the caring, and that's how I would provide. And that is then a desire that would awaken something within you as a man, and vice versa, right? Like, so there's a constant exchange of energy. And my journey, I've very much been in my head as well throughout my life, of that masculine trait of over conceptualizing, and disconnection from my body. And so over the last 2.5 years, that I've connected more to my femininity, my cycle, my blood, and what it means to be in the body. And what I notice within myself is that when I go so much into my feminine, that I kind of externalize the need for the container, or to be held, or to be seen, or to be acknowledged. And I see that in myself, and I see that in so many women, my sisters around me, when we talk and we kind of externalize, like, oh, but because there's not that, then it means that I can't do this. And so much of it has to come back to, where is my masculine, and how can I hold myself within this? And it's okay for me to hold myself in it, and I don't have to look externally. And I think as women, we tend to do that, and that's then projects pressure and non-organic flow of exchange between the male and the female. So yeah, there's much internal work that needs to be done, but within within a container, it's still difficult to understand what's going on, and where when it's my feminine, when it's my masculine. So I feel like there's a lot of, I've done whatever I can, I do it every day to meet these energies within me more and more, to understand what they are, what they're expressing to me, and how I can listen to them. Yeah, and it's not easy. So, but it's discussions like these that make me feel so uplifted in knowing that, you know, there's so many of us doing this work, because we are the pioneers. We're changing this place to be different from what it has been for so long, and changing what our mothers and fathers have taught us. If you think about our parents, like, they would have never been speaking like this, you know. And where do we get these ideas from anyway? Like, where do we start thinking about, I want to work with my masculine and feminine? It's just something that comes intuitively and we feel called to. How cool is that we feel like we can do that?
Yeah.
So, like, respect to ourselves as well for listening and for going deep into that. Yeah.
Just to talk about what you said about needing this container.
Yeah.
It's not taught to us men to be. We're not taught how to hold space for women. So when a masculine is more into the masculine, the concept or the thought of holding space for a woman, it's not readily available. I don't find much. When I talk to people, a lot of men, they don't understand the concepts of doing that, or the importance of doing that for the woman. When a man can, like, you know firsthand, I guess, the benefits of having a male be able to do that. The benefits you get, the way it makes you feel when you know this person is able just to hold space, just to allow you to be held in that moment safely. This is what I want to help much more men come to terms with and understand. This is the most powerful thing we can do.
Yes.
in the balancing
Yes.
of the masculine and feminine is understand, or understand what the divine feminine requires, and how to help, because we are only helping. We are not solely providing. We are only helping a process, you know. And in doing that, we also reap the benefits.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because it's an exchange. It will always be an exchange. But I think a lot of people are lost in this thing about always wanting to receive and not give, or feeling like they are owed something if they have given.
True.
But it's not. It's not for anybody to. We give freely we should give freely of ourselves, because this is who we are. This is what we are. And again, we applaud you also for doing the work. You know, like you said, our parent. It's. Before I started this, I couldn't tell you one healthy masculine role model that I had to look to talk to, for someone to show me the way.
Yes.
There was not one available for me.
Yeah.
So this is why I do what I do. This is why I think the universe has called me to do the things that I do, to show, to be a lighthouse for them men that want to see, that want to do the work, to know you have someone you can look towards. I'm not perfect. I don't know all the answers, but I've been on the journey, and I can help. I can give advice. I can hold space. I can be a way shower. I can point in directions. You know, this is my calling at the moment.
Yeah.
Not just for men, but also for women, to show women that this form of healthy masculinity exists.
Exactly.
Yeah, because a lot do not believe it exists. A lot of women hear me speak or speak to me and never knew people like me was out there.
Mm-hmm.
So they settle for less
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know there is more.
Mm-hmm.
So message to men, we need to step our game up.
Mm-hmm.
We all need to step our games up. We need to be like this to support. We need to be the support for the feminine. And then in turn the feminine will support us as the masculine. It's a process, it's a cycle, it's life.
Yes, so true. And aho to those words, and to you in your journey and what you're doing. Thank you, thank you. And it's so honoring to hear you speak. And because as a woman, I can count on one hand the healthy masculine, healthy men that I've met throughout my 31 years of life. And that's sad.
Sad.
It's sad. And for you as a man, like paving the way, not having healthy role models to look to what it means to be the healthy masculine, because the masculine energy has been so distorted in our world. It's been abused, it's been taken, and it's like just, it's like an on override, and it has no space to be itself at its core. And for the feminine to support it at its core, and to see it, and to be like, this is the masculine that I want to support. Because we do as women, you know, I do as a woman, I want to support the healthy masculine. And it's, you know, it opens my body whenever I hear like hearing you speak, and whenever I'm in proximity of that, it's like, yes, you know, that there's a response of what you just said. And the lack of that, even the healthy feminine, but we're talking about the healthy masculine, the lack of both is we're robbing ourselves of feeling fully and living fully to our fullest potential, and to supporting each other on our journeys. Like you said, it is a support. And by having that container, that support from a healthy masculine as a woman, it's then, yeah, it allows more emotion to be felt, and to be given the masculine then the permission to feel as well. So we're each giving each other something in those moments. And what you said, I feel like there's, for me, the word that comes is the resentment. It's like a resentment of like, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to support, because of my own conditioning, because of my own thoughts of how I should behave or how they should behave. And there's this, just, I'm keeping it all for myself. I'm not sharing with you. It's sad. I felt that in relationships, in friendships. It's moving past that and keeping that door open is key, I feel, and is like what is the gem of what we've been talking about of our whole life today, is that keeping the door open so that we can support one another is the key to our evolution as men and women, in the masculine and feminine, together in divine union, as a unit within the self, first and foremost. So yeah, thank you.
It's true. It's true. We need more people like us. The thing is also that I want to say is, another thing that I keep promoting recently is the power of the woman. You know, the men in history have done a number on you women, because you are the most powerful beings on this planet. Us men, we are not. We have a male dominated society, but it should not be so. The power that the women hold, that you women hold, is much more connected to the earth energy than us as men. So remember that. Remember the power of the woman. Remember the powerhouses that you are. I'm sad that the world has a matriarchal society, patriarchal society, because I think if women run the world, it would be a much nicer place to be. Seriously, it would. I think systematically, the powers that be, the men in the power, the men who have the power, have purposefully oppressed the woman, so as not to feel inferior to the woman, because you are divine. You are the divine mother. You know, a woman is the most powerful being on the planet, and we must honor that as men. We must honor that as men. Have to honor that as men, and let go of the ego self that we are superior, because then we can get balance.
Yeah.
You know, because the woman does not. I don't think the woman does not strive to be better than the man. If anything, they just want to be equal. We have to understand that as male and female, we are not equal on every level, but energetically we are equal. We can be equal energetically. And this is what I believe needs to happen. This shift in energy on the planet, so that the woman becomes equally as powerful and respected as the man. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your perspective and your views and your feelings on that. I feel that we are both, as men and women, equally as powerful and loving. So these are the two qualities that I feel both of us, as in men and women's bodies, have. We both have equal amount of power and equal amount of love, and I don't feel that anyone has more, and that there is an essential seeing and feeling of that, to come to that balance, and supporting each other in the way that we've been talking about, in keeping the doors open. But I honor and receive your words, and thank you. It's beautiful to hear you speak in that way. And I feel like one thing that I just want to say is what you said for me is like an acknowledgement of our planet, of Mother Nature, because Mother Nature and this planet has been so abused, and still is every day. Forests, tropical forests being cut down, deforestation, the animal farming industry, just the way that our planet is being abused, so that we as human beings can make more food for ourselves to eat. Anyway, this is going off topic, but we could talk about this for hours as well, as passionate vegans. But this abuse is the feminine. So I feel like, for me, what I received in your share just there is the honoring of our planet, of Mother Earth, of the place that we live on, that really hasn't, it's just been seen as a kind of something that will keep growing and keep giving, when she doesn't. She's tired.
Also, the thing is, when I say about you are the most powerful on the planet, you are the bringers of life.
Yeah.
Life comes through the woman. The seed is planted by the man, but life is nurtured and grown in the womb of the woman. That is the most sacred space. It's a universe within itself.
Yes.
This is the honoring we need to have with the woman, and understand that me as a man, I came from the woman.
Yeah.
You know, I came through a woman to be here. Without the woman, I couldn't be here. Without the woman, children could not be born. So you are powerful, because I cannot create life. I can give the seed to create life, but I cannot on my own create life. You know, I cannot nurture the conception or the birth or the miracle that happens within the womb with the atoms and the electron. I cannot, my body cannot do that.
Yeah.
Whereas yours can, you know,
Mm.
as a woman. This
Mm.
is why we must honor the mother in all women.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's so beautiful to receive. Mm. Well, I feel like we could go on talking, but we've been on here for an hour and a half nearly.
Wow, so young. Wow.
Yeah. Um, but I feel like we can close our container because we've explored many areas, and we might do another live where we go into different topics.
Yeah.
But it's been beautiful exchanging with you and feeling you and sharing with the viewers. Thank you for watching, and thank you for watching on replay. And
Thank you
yeah,
all for being present.
thank you as well.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here also.
Yes.
Thank you for doing the work you do and having
Mm,
your channel like this for this container for self-expression. I was a bit nervous this morning, like I didn't know, like, ugh. But again, this is also new to me, you know, putting myself out there like this and my feelings out there in a forum for the world to see is only something I've been doing for maybe a month. Before that, I was
Yeah.
hiding from the universal calling, but it feels good to be here, to be
Yes.
accepted. So
Yes.
thank you personally for this opportunity.
Of course. And thank you for coming on here and sharing your wisdom. It is deeply received and deeply needed. And I'm excited for more bit exchange, more of this exchange between you and I.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you all. Sending you all love. Bye.